All right, let's talk about some spoilers. Okay, so I took down some notes because I can't remember everything, but I'm gonna play back some things that I had called before I actually went and saw the movie. The first thing I was wondering is, how is his healing factor affected? You see he's got scars, you see he's in pain, but he still heals, or what? Explain that. So basically what happens in the movie is, yes, he still has the regeneration ability, but imagine like, okay, so you know how your body's like system starts to shut down as you get older and it starts to beat you. You don't like if you were to get like surgery when you're 20 versus when you're like 75, you're gonna heal differently or more slow, or it's not gonna heal like fully, and there's like more risk when you do it when you're older. That is what is happening to Logan. His body naturally is outrunning his regeneration, I guess you could say. So he can regenerate, but it's slower, it takes longer. So if you shot him enough, I would say, you know, like with a shotgun to the chest, yeah, he's gonna die. And surprisingly, that's what's killing him. I did not say this because I didn't think they would use it, but I suspected it. They're using his adamantium as the excuse, which I'm fine with. So let's think about that. If you are a true X-Men fan or a true Wolverine fan or just a superhero fan in general, I'm not making fun of anybody if you don't know this, but you should know his claws are not his mutation. His metal adamantium is not his mutation. His mutation is that he is able to heal or regenerate. That is his mutation. And because of that mutation, he was taken into an experiment where they put adamantium endoskeleton into him with claws, because he could survive it. Because anyone they do that to would die, because they're injecting like unbreakable metal into your body. It's going to kill you. Your system can't just be like, oh yeah, come on in, yeah, move right in here, go replace the bones, you know, fill them up, make them strong. No, you would die. But Logan didn't die, and then he has this whole adamantium body now, and his body is constantly regenerating, so it's not killing him or affecting him or him feeling pain of it. But of course he feels pain every time he gets the claws out of his hand because it rips right there. He'll feel that. But as far as it living in his body is always regenerating over it, and it's just part of him now. But now in this movie, now that he has gotten older, it is actually it's not able to keep up with taking care of his body as the metal is deteriorating him. Or I don't know if that's a proper word. That was hard to say. So with that said, he's a lot slower. He's always in pain, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. I mean, he like heals and he doesn't heal. Imagine like an open wound that you don't treat, but you stay alive and you let it go for days like that. That's what his like healings like start to look like. It's like, dude, you're not well. I mean, you're not bleeding anymore, but you need to go to the doctor, you know? So I really like that effect. Also, Charles Xavier is sick. He's like losing it, sort of. He has to take pills to prevent him from having seizures. When he has seizures, it's like, and he starts like killing like everybody, and it doesn't actually tell you how far. I don't know if it's the whole world or if it's like a certain radius, but anyone around them is affected, and they all get like this same seizure thing going on. It feels like they're getting killed. But of course the one it affects the least is Logan, because he can still regenerate, but it still affects him, but he can fight through it to an extent. He can at least move through it. Almost everybody else can't really move. They're like stuck in paralysis. So because of these two, Logan has pretty much taken care of Charles Xavier that for a long time, and I'm assuming he's waiting for him to just die. And he, of course, nobody wants that, but Charles is sick now. He's not who he was. Next thing I brought up, I remember, is does Charles still have his powers at all? I mean, I know he's got like problems. I know he has like abilities, but can he control them? Yes, he still has his powers in this movie. He barely uses them, but he does use them to put some animals in line that are running crazy on a highway. So they pull over, he focuses, and he gets them all to just shut up and line up and, you know, get back in the loading truck or whatever they came out of. Also to the movie, he was supposedly communicating with a mutant, and I guess, you know, you see later he was, so I guess he's not that crazy. So yeah, he does still have his powers, but imagine those kind of powers also with Alzheimer's and someone who can have seizures. So it's kind of like, yeah, he has powers, but Next, that little girl is savage. I underestimated this actress. Yeah, perfect choice. She destroys in this movie. She's doing flips and flying sideways and sneaky little animal hiding here and there and screaming and slaughtering. We're talking decapitating, guts ripping out, and just like, oh, it was, yo. The story continues to go that She wants Logan to take her to a place that's called Eden, where it's supposedly safe, and she's meeting up all her friends, and that's where they will be safe. Logan finds out that's a place in a comic book and is convinced that this kid believes the comic book is real, and now he's trying to convince her this place doesn't exist. And that's how it plays out. Logan, this place doesn't exist. And X-23, yes it does, take me there. This is very important that I did bring up. I will show you that I called it. I nailed this. Okay, so the trailer that most of us have seen, the very ending where you have Professor X talking over and he's like, Logan, you still have time. And he's standing there, Wolverine's standing there with the shovel and the little girl and he's all bloody and stuff. Now this is a big guess. Now again, I didn't do a lot of research on this because I like to be surprised, but I do know the comics. I honestly feel like right there, what I'm guessing just based off what I see, is that Charles dies and Logan just got done burying him. And here comes the little girl, and now Logan's like torn now, like this all happened because of you. Now how am I supposed to handle this? Am I like, do I continue to save your life for a good cause, you know, for what we are and who we are? Yo, okay, so yes, Charles dies. That is exactly what that scene in the trailer is. When he's holding the shovel, he just got done burying Charles. I so called that. And of course, he is pissed at the little girl. She comes up, you know, tries to hold his hand or whatnot, and he fights it for like a minute. Like, don't be an ass. Don't be an ass. Oh, I'm so angry at you. This happened because of you, you little brat. And he like shoves her off and he takes off with the shovel. He starts beating on the truck that they're driving with it, and he falls down because he's all weak and tired and he just can't do it anymore. He's like so depressed and angry right now. I also called that how it goes like in the comics basically. Logan dies. He does eventually die. Yep. This is it. The end. He actually dies. He is beaten. Now in this movie, yes, he's still a badass, but when it comes to like all like the main guys he's fought in all of the X-Men, you know, he had a good fighting chance, maybe a little bit of support. In this movie, no chance. No. He got his ass kicked in everything. He is constantly barely saved. Like he gets saved either by X-23 or he starts to run, or he kills a few enough people to just get out of there. But as far as like one-on-one fighting with the guy, no, he always loses. He just can't do it anymore. With that said, he goes one-on-one with the main bad guy. Next spoiler alert, which I believe is called X-24. And guess what? It's a replica of Wolverine. It's him, like in a mirror, but like 20 years ago. 20 years ago from his character, not like right now from, you know, X-Men 1 20 years ago. Like from his character, how old he is in this movie 20 years back from there. So we got a younger, badder, evil Wolverine that's like controlled or programmed by the bad guys, and he comes in, he decimates all. He ends our Logan. He smacks around that little girl and, you know, got her all locked up and he's carrying her like a briefcase. He's got her. That was the whole goal of the movie, is the bad guys to get this girl. I'm not entirely sure why it's so important, but yeah, so he comes in here and he just like owns the place. With that said, it ends up turning into a one-on-one at the end with evil Wolverine versus Logan, and Logan knows he cannot beat him, so he's basically just, he's blocking the way, prepared to die to save these kids that this evil Wolverine is after. And yeah, he takes the fall, he gets his ass kicked, but of course he barely gets saved by the slaughtering blow by the evil Wolverine, because the little girl just happened to have an adamantium bullet that Logan's been carrying around because he's thought about, you know, just... And so she has that, and somehow she happens to find one of the soldiers' guns that happens to fit that bullet, and she happens to be a crack shot and takes out evil Wolverine right in the head. So she bought Logan like 2 minutes of time to like take in that this is the end and recognize this little girl, which I didn't say yet, but she is his daughter. Let's just pause for a second about like the whole I'm dying thing. But she is his daughter, biologically. Did with these kids, they were like trying to build like weapons of mass destruction, like controlled mutants, but if they thought if they like, you know, grew them and raised them themselves, they'd like be loyal or in control. And one of them was a little girl, and her DNA came from Logan's DNA. So biologically, she is his daughter. The mother, unknown. or at least in the movie. So he found this out probably, I want to say in the midway of the movie, and Charles was trying to tell him this like indirectly. Like he was just saying, this is your daughter because she acts like you and has the same power. But it was like never mentioned because of like DNA. Or you're like, biologically, she is actually yours, Logan. It was never said. So Logan was always like in denial and didn't want to listen to it, and it was just like, old man, shut up. But about like halfway through the movie, he comes to terms with that she is, but that doesn't really mean more obligation to protect her because it's his DNA that was taken. What problem is this of his for some girl that happened to be born out of, you get what I mean? But there was an obligation for him, and so that's why he pushes further in this movie to try and save her. And now it comes to the point that he's dying and she's over him, and there's like tears and stuff and crying. And then he like says some last words that kind of gets you like a little emotional, but it was good. Okay, so Logan slowly can no longer regenerate because the adamantium in his body is actually killing him. Charles Xavier dies. How? From an evil Wolverine clone type thing that the bad guys have. Stabs him right in the chest while he was sleeping. Done. X-23 is Logan's daughter. Not by choice. His DNA was taken and she was biologically made from his DNA. And last, Logan does die and they bury him. And no sneak peek, no anything like, ooh, after thing, like, oh, he's still alive. No, he's dead, according to this movie. After credits, nothing. There is nothing. I can tell you right now, after like it turns black and it rolls the names of the movie and all the credits and all that stuff, you can leave. There is nothing after the movie. Nothing. I waited till the lights came on and I was the last one sitting in there. There is nothing. These videos will be shorter and will be more precise and at least a little more scenic once I get my place set up here a little more. But I couldn't pass on doing this video because this whole month of March we got so many movies we gotta do. I gotta get ready for them. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you did not enjoy this video, please hit the like button. I will be doing another video at the end of this coming week, which will be Kong. There's so many this month. I got it back to back. Here we go. Kong Skull Island. Is he big enough to take on Godzilla? I'll see you guys in a week.